making tourism a key global agenda item. Businesses discuss concerns about the social responsibility tax. And in sports, Andre Russell withdraws from the Windies tour of the UAE.
The CBC Headline News, brought to you by Digicel, Barbados' fastest 4G network.
Credible, balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
And a very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Lord with the Friday, September 16th edition of the CBC Evening News. In our top story, Barbados has joined the world's leading tourism bodies and a growing list of other countries to place the travel and tourism industry as a key item on the global agenda. One of the ways countries show their commitment is by accepting an open letter which symbolizes recognition of the importance of travel and tourism. The open letter is the brainchild of the United Nations World Tourism Organization and the World Travel and Tourism Council. The initiative was introduced in 2011 amid concerns that travel and tourism lacked political and economic recognition. Prime Minister Frundell Stewart was presented with the document this morning at the State of the Tourism Industry Conference at the Hilton Hotel. He says Barbados joins other Caribbean countries like the Bahamas, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and Jamaica.
Let us therefore use our combined resources to enhance the contribution of the sector to the global goals of sustainable and universal development. In so doing, we must encourage sustainable economic growth by creating decent jobs that have viable linkages across the sectors, such as agriculture, thereby addressing and alleviating issues relating to poverty and unemployment.
And President and CEO of the World Travel and Tourism Council, David Scousel, says Barbados is a good example for other countries to follow.
It is a country immediately associated with tourism and has an allure which is famed throughout the world. If anyone wants to understand how our sector can be a force for economic growth, job creation, self-respect, and to act as a force for good in this world, it is here in Barbados.
Members of the travel media were honored for their contributions of telling the story of Barbados. It was at the inaugural Barbados Tourism Media Awards held last evening at the Fairmont Royal Pavilion. Our Shane Jones has the details.
Tourism Minister Richard Seeley believes the contribution of the travel media is deserving of an award ceremony.
Media people are not always the people at the top of your list that you want to embrace necessarily. But travel media people are completely different. And I'm not saying there aren't nice people in the mainstream media too, because they are. But obviously, the travel media almost want to say something good about a destination. They want to talk about the experience they're having.
The minister added that critiques, both good and bad, are always helpful.
I personally welcome critical stories once it is criticisms in the right spirit. In essence, sometimes someone's experiences, when they share them, you can gain enough from it that you can indeed make the various modifications that are necessary.
Well, the top award on the night, the inaugural Barbados Heritage Award in commemoration of our 50th anniversary of independence, went to a journalist of 49 years, Miss Gersine Carter.
When I was 18 and walked into the office of the editor of The Advocate and said, I want to be a reporter. Just weeks later, he threw me into the deep and sent me out to the airport, and that was my first beat. You go on a Sunday morning with an empty notebook, and you were expected to return at the end of the day with stories from Monday's paper. I enjoyed it then, and now, at 67, I still enjoy it.
Well, other awards won were Best Feature Article in a Trade Publication, Best Feature Article in a Consumer Publication, Best Feature by a Foreign Journalist in Foreign Media, and Best Story by a Blogger, among several others. Regional carrier Liat says it's working hard to address the concerns of travelers. Acting Chief Executive Officer Julie Reefer-Jones told reporters the airline has had less flights available with the transition to the new ATR planes. Liat now flies 9 ATRs after flying 18 -8 planes for many years.
With a reduced fleet, the capacity is enhanced, but with a limited number of aircraft, it is not possible for us to maintain the number of flights that we had in the past. I should say that the fleet transition was quite challenging for Liat, but we are happy to be out of that transition at this point. We returned or sold the last Dash 8 June 14th, I think it was, and that was the last time that we had a Dash 8 in the fleet. So right now we are an all ATR fleet.
Ms. Reefer-Jones says they're proud of the new ATRs, which have a greater capacity. She says while 12 would be an optimal number of aircraft, they will be adding at least one more ATR by next month.
There's a 10th aircraft that should arrive at the end of October. The 10 aircraft we have identified for our core network, and in our plans there is a strategy that would include 2 additional aircraft at a later date. We are still to work out the details of the timing of that, but that's our thinking. And certainly based on the challenges that we are having now, the limited number of aircraft that we have presents challenges to our ability to serve the region.
The Barbados Workers Union has officially given the go-ahead for its members in the Customs and Excise Department to begin their transition to the Barbados Revenue Authority, or the BRA. The BWU's General Secretary Tony Moore told the media at a press briefing government has agreed to the union's demands made in the interest of members. Ms. Moore says before yesterday, workers who had not yet been appointed were at risk of losing their jobs when Customs merged with the BRA. But the Minister of Finance has since written informing the union government will offer permanent posts to temporary workers with more than 3 years on the job and offer the other some positions.
A supernumerary is an employee who is not appointed into a permanent post because there are no established posts that exist. But making a person a supernumerary is really an indication to that person that they have all the entitlements of permanent status. All the entitlements of permanent status, and they will be regularized as soon as positions have been established.
Well, government has also agreed to extend its complement, so all 73 customs guards would have positions in the BRA instead of just 51 as previously outlined. Ms. Moore clarified that although the union is satisfied with the current agreement, it's up to members to sign the form. Any member who chooses not to join the Revenue Authority can be absorbed into another sector of the civil service. Meantime, the Congress of Trade Unions and Staff Associations of Barbados has submitted proposals for wage increases to the government. The disclosure from CDUSAB President Cedric Murrell. He says a meeting on the matter is planned for the middle of next month, and his comments came at a press conference to reveal plans for CDUSAB's upcoming delegates conference.
The Congress has submitted salary and wages proposals to the government of Barbados, and come October the 16th, we'll have our first meeting to discuss the question of salaries and wages for the public officers that we represent within the Congress.
Well, the conference has a packed agenda including 7 resolutions and includes plans to address absenteeism. General Secretary Dennis DePisa says the issue must be fully researched.
Absenteeism, is it genuine
absenteeism, sick leave, because people might report a day or two as being ill because they can't get to work, but that will not have an impact on the NAS. But in other words, you want to put the thing in its first context for what is giving rise to the level of overall absenteeism, and furthermore to the chronic level of absences that are then causing the claims to rise significantly.
Well, fewer Barbadians are participating in a popular fitness initiative, even though non-communicable diseases remain a concern. The Walk Your Talk Challenge, conceptualized by the Barbados Chamber of Commerce and Industry, encourages and awards companies and individuals for adopting active and healthy lifestyles. Executive Director Lisa Gale says the initiative was designed to tackle the high levels of absenteeism, sick leave and low productivity in the workplace. It also combats NCDs, which are responsible for 84% of deaths in Barbados. But she explains numbers have dropped sharply from the 5,000 people that participated in the very first competition about 4 years ago.
We really want to put a dent in that non-communicable disease status of Barbados. We are seeing those figures growing and growing. They're getting a little too large for the likings of the Chamber, and we will continue to find and to implement projects that can find a way to dent, particularly our membership and other members in the business community, so as to reduce the absenteeism as well as the advent of non-communicable disease in some form or fashion.
Coming up, the social responsibility levy discussed. Stay with us.
Don't let your data experience slow you down. Step up to Digicel, Barbados' fastest 4G network, more than twice as fast as the slow network. Get more with Digicel. Digicel, the fastest 4G network in Barbados. Dial *153# to sign up to Digicel today.
Winning a fabulous Miami shopping spree is in the cards. Use any Scotiabank credit card for all your everyday shopping, dining out, and more. You'll earn chances to win a trip for two to Miami, including round-trip airfare and $1,000 in cash. The more you use your card, the more chances to win. So pay with any Scotiabank credit card today. Need a card? Apply now to get a welcome bonus, plus more chances to win. Contest ends September 30th. Conditions apply.
They're new, they're full of flavor, they're chunks of fruity 100% natural real fruit bars from Bico. Enjoy this fat-free treat in delicious strawberry, pina colada, pineapple, Caribbean mix, lime, and mango flavors from retail outlets island-wide, Bico Mobilers and the Bico Direct Outlet on Harbor Road.
Something special starts with a Scotia Plan loan, like a family vacation, or sending the kids off to university, or trading in your old wheels for new ones. A Scotia Plan loan from Scotiabank is the ideal plan for anything you want to make happen. Choose the amount you need and the repayment terms that suit you best. Apply before September 15th at your nearest branch for special loan rates. Something special starts with a Scotia Plan loan. Conditions apply.
A prison officer at Her Majesty's Prison at Dodds has been remanded and is now an inmate at the St. Philip facility. This after he appeared in the District C Magistrates Court today, charged with assisting a prisoner, an offence stipulated in the Prison Act. 41-year-old Sean MacDonald Herbert of Tudor St. Michael appeared in court where he pleaded guilty to 3 charges of taking letters from Her Majesty's Prison without permission, bringing letters and photographs to the prison without permission, and 1 count of attempting to convey letters and photographs. Police say Herbert was remanded to prison until September 23rd when he reappears in court for sentencing. While Barbadian businesses are being assured issues with the new social responsibility levy will soon be ironed out. The minister responsible for Commerce and Small Business Development, Donville Innes, says he will sit down with Finance Minister Chris Sinclair and review it. This just a little more than 2 weeks after the levy was implemented.
Barbados's large and small manufacturers came together at a meeting hosted by the Barbados Investment and Development Corporation. They wanted to ask questions and air their grievances about the social responsibility levy.
Why would we introduce something that's so difficult and contentious when a small increase in the value-added tax would have done the job and everybody would be clear?
The levy calls for a 2% tax on the customs value of all imports, except for those within manufacturing, agriculture and tourism sectors. And it also requires manufacturers to either charge or pay an additional 2% even when carrying out business locally. But details are still fuzzy or unpopular among local manufacturers who are worried the tax will make them less competitive. And they directed their concerns towards a Barbados Revenue Authority Senior Manager, Anthony Gittins.
It makes absolutely no sense if you're going to have a duty-free concession on the 2% for bringing in inputs, but don't have the concession when buying from a local manufacturer. It makes absolutely no sense. It's nonsense.
Hill Miller got to go and buy packaging material from Precision Packaging and pay another 2%. And then we sell it, we got to pay another 2% on top of that. Come on.
The Commerce Minister took some time to remind the businessmen of the reason behind the tax, and that's to finance public health and environmental projects. But he agreed some damage might be done to the manufacturing sector.
A 2% levy on goods entering Barbados will indeed translate to an increase in costs at the consumer end. And that really and truly is also, let's admit it, the reason why we have it. We want to dampen the demand for foreign exchange, while at the same time generating some revenue.
The minister suggested the 2% not be added when manufacturers buy raw material, and he wants that urgent meeting with the finance minister.
Obviously, there are some matters here that merits going back to the joint table. It doesn't mean the levy we put on hold. That's the Minister of Finance position. I don't think it should be. I think what is needed is clarity to be brought to these matters, not in a matter of weeks, but in a matter of hours.
It's estimated this new National Social Responsibility Levy, as it stands, would raise $82.9 million this financial year. Denise Blackman, CBC News.
The family of the late Ueta Yard is crying foul. They claim just one day after they laid her to rest, thousands of dollars in floral arrangements were stolen from her gravesite. Our Shane Jones has been following that story.
Imagine this is the way you said your final goodbyes to your loved one. And then this is what you return to find. This nightmare is a reality for the Yard family, especially son Trevor.
It was only Tuesday after 2 full weeks of grieving that we laid our mum to rest in one of the family graves. This one here. Try to understand the tremendous love and adoration we all had from Mom. The loss was greatly felt not only here in Barbados, but all across the US, the UK, and some of our families in Trinidad. And so we set out to just give Mom a send-off deserving of a queen.
Close to $2,000 was spent on floral arrangements by family and friends.
When we all left here on Tuesday, September 13th, the grave was adorned with the most beautiful display of flowers. I personally returned only yesterday, one day after, and to what can only be described as the most egregious and despicable act of sacrilege. I ain't even saying grave robbery, saying sacrilege. Understand this. This is sacred ground. This is our family ancestral burial ground. Our great-grandmother, grandmother, cousins, uncles, aunties, and now our mom is buried right here.
Mr. Yard says it makes the pain even greater.
No one has the right to violate it. So to come here yesterday, just one day after we laid our matriarch to rest, and see this has left some of us in pain, again in sorrow, and many more in disbelief.
When I first saw this grave like this, because my mom had a very beautiful grave, and then I just had enough tension going through my head, all down my neck, up till now.
When I heard about it, I felt
really awful. Words can't really describe, but coming here and seeing it for myself, I just feel like crying all over again, you know, and I can't say, I say it's a shame, but that's just a slight word to say what it is to me.
The family had this message for whoever is responsible.
If you're going to do something like this, your mind has to be really, really warped. It's despicable. I just hope that if they're watching this, that they understand that when you do this, what you do to families is that you put them back through another process of grieving. And it's not right.
Shane Jones, CBC News.
The winner of the Digicel Bring the Beat promotion has been announced. She is Angela Francis of Holders Hill, St. James. Ms. Francis is the lucky recipient of a Samsung S7 smartphone. And that's not all. She's now the owner of a brand new fully loaded 2016 Hyundai Creta. It comes with free gas, insurance, road tax and maintenance for 1 year. Ms. Francis was at times overwhelmed with emotion, but she's delighted with her unexpected win.
Yeah, I thought I was just coming to collect a phone, so I was good. Well, I have a 6 edge, so I was... I don't know. But I was really totally surprised when it came down. But I said, when I saw him, I said, well, I felt it was odd, but well, anyway, I'm happy.
And still to come, a look at some of the stories making headlines across our region.
Peoples, restore